Greetings, precious spirit soul. Take a nice deep breath right where you are. Breathe in that oxygen, the energy. Breathe into your heart. Just notice right where you are, what it feels like. If you're sitting there, that's just you. That's right there. And just breathing. And the breath is very, very important, obviously, but for all purposes, to help us right now. My topic is what's most important for you to know. What's most important for you to know right now. And Inos Swan is one of my favorite researchers, and I have his books, Secrets of Power 1 and 2. He's a very great guy, and he also taught remote viewing. He did that sort of thing, but he also was he could do many things, but he looked at how he could do it, and so that he could teach others so that they could do the same thing. And one of the main things that he said is that in order to empower yourself, you have to know where you're depowered. And if you look in the dictionary, and I have a set of those Oxford dictionary, the print's so small you can hardly ever read it, give you a headache anyway. But this whole world is contained in the dictionary because everything here has a word. Rock, stone, water, pants, sweater, red. Yeah, I mean, all these things, hurt body, all this stuff, all has a word, and is in the dictionary. And then when they name some, like they'll name some new disease they invented, and they'll give it a name, and everybody uses the name, and they say it's real because it has a name. Well, that doesn't mean it's real. It means it has a name. Okay. And depowerment, the word, is not in the dictionary. The word empowerment is, but obviously if there's empowerment, there's also depowerment in a dualistic reality, and this is a dual reality. And if you think of dual, think of D-U-E-L, which is a fight. It's a sword fight. It's a fight, dueling. So the dual it operates on conflict. Okay, got to know, it operates on conflict. So they always have to have two sides. So that's why whoever likes to be a master controller of this reality, or for us to produce whatever reality, whatever this, I would call it AI. The mind is an AI, artificial intelligence, because you have divine intelligence. You have godlike intelligence, if you want to, and you have a godlike, if you want to call it a mind, but it's a consciousness. So what happens so I just want to say before, and I get back to this other thing, but Inos Swan, then I want to say this, he said, initiating self-awareness is of one's own innate powers. Self-awareness of your own innate powers. See, you can't get what you don't already have. But what depowerment is to decrease your awareness to the point where you only believe what you have been taught or told to believe that you have, through whether it is psychology, it is education, intellectualism, rules, laws, that are all man-made, even though if they say they're God-made, they are man-made, and they are instructions, they're words that make reality boxes, story boxes. They make, and we'll take words, I was starting to mention before, and you take one word, then you add another word to it, and another word to it, and you've got now a sentence. Well, isn't a sentence something that someone goes to prison for? They get a sentence. And isn't spelling, if you're going to learn spelling, isn't there also a thing called spell casting? Well, isn't that interesting? You're just looking. Okay. And so all of this spell casting and all of this hypnotic trance, you might say, because when you look at what it takes to put a person in a trance, it can be very easy, like the tick-tock of the family clock. And you go, nee. Now you're watching it. It's called a watch. If you notice the thing on your arm, called a watch. Why? Because you watch it. Because you want to know what time it is. It's always the same time. It's now. Any time. It's always now. That's it. And that's you being right there. So these innate powers, and what people are trying to get powers, or they're trying to get something, say love, when they are love, and the only way you feel it is when you give it. And you have an object of love. You can't be your own object because you are love. You this is who you are. And the way we love is we care for. That just means a real divine being is endeavoring for the welfare of all human and animal-bodied, real, authentic divine beings. They have compassion. Soulless individuals can fake it and pretend, but they don't have compassion. Somehow they lost it. They sold it, they traded it, or they never had it, or it's a species of a humanoid that doesn't have it. It could be, possibly. Or at least it thinks it is. So innate means you already have. And one of the things Inos Swan, in his book, the first book, Secrets of Power 1, he listed about 33 different extrasensory abilities that we have with our own 5 senses, okay? Now, and what we're told in school, you have 5 senses. Well, wonder if you have 33 senses, extrasensory, at least. And this is what Ingo said. He didn't put a limit. He said, so far, we've discovered this many. It even, what the hair is. You say, well, why do you have, someone saw me one day, and said, well, why do you grow your hair long? Well, because, I think I look gorgeous, but other than that, who cares? But because my hair is part of my central nervous system, and it helps me with my intuition and psychic abilities. We all have these. These are innate, but you are told that you don't. And I had a friend, I still have a friend like that, but anyway, that when he was a kid, and he still does, he sees auras. And then his father, parents put him in a government program and he was with 50 other children that all had extrasensory abilities. Even one kid who was his friend, if you would shuffle the card and put them all cards and all face down, he'd know every single one of them from the backside. Just know what it is automatically. Every single 52 cards. I know, pretty amazing. So anyway, they were then trying to discover and find out, the government, what these people do, how they do it, what they can do, so we can use this power somehow, or we can then take these extrasensory powers and abilities to use them. But we're not taught that you have these abilities. They are frowned upon, or you're supposedly, but because even the whole thing now of that there is a supreme source or being, or that the source has personal qualities. So then people are going to be impersonalists, so that these impersonalists are going to use whatever is there for their own personal sense pleasure or whatever it may be, without including our source. Without including our beloved, I don't know how to say it or any other way, our divine partner. And so this is I'm going to be the big deal. I'm going to be the big deal myself, rather than, you're not the big deal, you're the little deal. You're the mini Winnie. But it doesn't matter, because this is what you're made of. And we have the reservoir of all that. So what he was saying is, initiating self-awareness, your self-awareness, how you know what is there, of your own innate powers. And it's the single most self-control dominion of the individual. And you then exert the greatest control of your of yourself, and to not know these powers is a criminal thing that has been done to humanity, to make us believe we are, oh my goodness, came here to work in and sell stuff. So that you could survive. Oh my God. The greatest work is for you to find out, know, and be who you are. There isn't anything more important. Not that college degree, not your PhD. I gave myself my first honorary PhD. I'd already written 2 or 3 books. Are you serious? And then after that, I got 3 or 4 more of other people gave me in institutions and organizations, which is great. Because I always thought that was important. You know, it was really important. But what's important is you. That's what's important. Your quality of being. How you feel. Where you are. Right there. Doesn't matter whether anybody else appreciates it or not. You have to appreciate yourself. You have to appreciate your source. And then taking your power back is be who you really. And see, this is the key. We're pretending to be somebody other than who we are. And we know that we know that. And we know somebody might find out about it, you know, whatever, because it's all pretense. This is all theater. This is a theatrical performance, basically, by a bunch of theatrical people. Con artists, pickpockets, whatever you want to call it. Blood drinking, black magic magicians, warlocks, whatever consciousness someone decides is going to give them what they want, blah, 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 independent of their source, that is the totality of all that is. So you basically diminish yourself by believing what you are told and taught about who you are without your doing your own research, as if your life depends on it, and it does. And it does. And so I want you to contact me, and I could suggest links, books, whatever it may be, that, because I'm a researcher of the divine experiment. Because it's all about me. It's all about you. It's all about us. Us. And we know who we are. We spot each other. And we help each other. And encourage each other. Stand strong in the truth and don't agree with anything anybody tells you is going to happen or will happen or has to happen or who you are. Stop that. You don't need to belong to a group that you can just belong because you speak the words, but you don't even know what you're doing. There isn't anything more important than this. Your innate qualities, divine quality. Of all the teachings I have studied, basically the Puranas of the Vedas are the most complete and the most profound. They don't tell you to go to some light and tunnel when you leave your body. Don't do that. Are you kidding? That's just a setup to recycle you as an energy system. You don't go anywhere. You don't come here, be here. You're projecting it. Anyway. You know who you are. I know who you are. And I'm available to serve you. Because it's my joy when people want to know and when they blossom and be who they are in every way. Yes. And I just want to know and find out what happens when you don't have any binding, when you're free of hypnotic trance and curses and these thought form entities, like a belief. Oh, no one will ever love you. That's a belief? And you have a thought form like that? That now is alive because you said it's real. It was dead. It had no life. You believed it. All of a sudden, that then is controlling you. A life, there is a living thought form entity called no one will ever love you that is now controlling your you. Determining your experience. Wow. Okay. Enough is enough. innate. Now you got to know what those are. And it has to be suggested to you. And you have to hear about it, and you have to read about it, and you have to know about it, and you have to activate it, and you have to trust it. You have to trust your inner knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt. And never have plan B, ever. And never image what you don't want, ever. Okay, it's enough from Grandma over here. You're my kids, you know. And I love you. Big time. We're doing it.